First off, I trust that all of you had a wonderful Christmas with family and friends. Happy Boxing Day. Today, we're going to look at a concept that is not discussed by mainstream media, and you'll probably figure out why by the time I'm done. And that is relative risk reduction versus absolute risk reduction, or as I call it, relative truth versus absolute truth when it comes to big pharma. Okay, let's unpack this concept through. Let's pretend that there's a new disease out there, and this disease is called, let's call it pharmapox. And pharmapox seems to inflict 2 out of every 1,000 people. Well, big government gets scared and they roll out the machine and they say, well, we've got to have a drug to combat this right away. So big pharma comes along and says, yeah, we'll work on that. We'll get on it at the speed of science and we'll come up with this new drug. Lo and behold, suddenly they've got this new drug. They introduce the clinical trials. And on that same set group of people, they test this drug. And now only 1 out of 1,000 gets this new pharmapox disease. Well, they say, look, we went from 2 out of 1,000 down to 1 out of 1,000. That's essentially a 50% reduction. And that's the number they're legally allowed to promote. They say our drug reduces the chances or the incidences of this disease by 50%. That's the number people hear over and over. That's what the media touts. That's what everybody shouts from everywhere. And lo and behold, consumers say, wow, 50%, that's amazing. Well, is it honest and ethical? Well, you be the judge. Is it legal? Yeah, they're legally allowed to do it. Should they be allowed to do it? Seems a little questionable, no? Because really, at the end of the day, you went from 2 out of 1,000 down to 1 out of 1,000. So what was your real reduction in your chances? Well, you had very little chance of getting this in the first place, and then it only dropped by 1 person. So if you got the absolute numbers, the absolute risk reduction, you would be hard-pressed to possibly still take their drug. Now, add to that possible adverse effects and things like that, side effects and reactions that could happen, and let's suppose for a minute that they test that honestly, and they figure out that that's 5 out of 1,000 people. Okay, so now if you had all of the actual information before you, the proper information you should have, and you'd say, well, my absolute risk reduction goes from 2 out of 1,000 to 1 out of 1,000, that's only 1 person, but my possible adverse reactions are basically 5 out of 1,000 for everybody who takes this drug. Does it really make a lot of sense? I think not. And that's the kind of numbers that they should be forced to disclose all the time. Now, you might think, going to your doctor, that they would know all this stuff. They'll be able to tell you that all of these numbers, the absolute risk reduction versus the relative. No, folks, they don't. Most people aren't statisticians, they're not mathematicians or anything else, and nor do they pay attention like that. They basically tout the same thing they're hearing everywhere else, and that's why it's so important that we should have laws that force these folks to disclose the full numbers, and those are the numbers that they should be forced to promote everywhere, not the other numbers, because as we know, it's relative truth versus absolute truth, and absolute truth is the only thing that we need to be working with, especially when it comes to our health, because we need to know what absolutely works and what's right. Anyway, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. I hope this has been informative for you. If you're new to the channel and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. And if you know anybody that's like-minded, share this channel with them. I've got lots of videos I've been posting for about a year now, so if you haven't seen some of the older ones, please check them out. And as always, I welcome your comments and thoughts, and I look forward to seeing you next time.